Here we go. Hello, everyone from Nashville, Tennessee. It's 7 o'clock Central Time. This is Mike from the Crushing Iron Podcast. And man, I got kind of a sweet looking sunset behind me. 12 days out from Ironman, Wisconsin. And day 2 of my taper, I guess you would say. And I think I had just a hair bit more energy today than I did yesterday. Slept pretty well last night, which is good. I didn't stay up with Netflix and pollute myself with podcasts. I actually just kind of laid there and fell asleep, which was nice. I got to turn that light off. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Today I had a little bit of a bike, 1 hour bike, and I was out in the lab. It was a speed-ish session, which I think what I described it as a little bit of faux power I had in me. I didn't quite feel like I was that explosive, but I did all right. And of course, in taper, the thing I think a lot of people miss out on is that you want to keep your legs and you want to keep your body reminded that you're not throwing in the towel 2 weeks out. You want to keep it fresh, obviously, and you want to keep pushing the explosive muscles just a little bit. I think I had 12 1 minute intervals, not all out, but zone 4. So I went pretty hard on the bike and then cruised it home. It's just so weird because you feel like you're like wiped out, but you're still kind of pushing through it, but you're still trying to recover and heal up for all those crazy mileage you put in over the years or over the year. And your body, your mind is like, all right, dude, enough. But you're, still trying to make it happen. So that's where I'm at today. Tomorrow I got to swim and a run. Oh, I got my bike tuned up. I didn't tune it up. I just had him look at it. He tuned it up about 3 weeks ago. It's actually running pretty good. I just had him kind of go through it to make sure everything was tight and everything worked well. And it seems like it is. He just threw it up on that. I was going to leave it, but he just threw it up on the stand and kind of ran through a bunch of stuff and dialed me in. I mean, it's the same bike I've always had since I started triathlon 6 years ago. It's a little bit of a heavier bike. It's aluminum. I haven't bought into, I shouldn't say, bought in literally to the, carbon bikes and things like that. I think it would help me, but I wanted to prove to myself, and this is actually, I think I did prove to myself that I can stick with it and actually push through and actually work my bike to the point where I deserve it. So maybe next year I'll get a bike, but maybe next year I won't be racing another full Ironman. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. Hey, Adam, separate bike than what you train on? No, I train on the same bike. That's been kind of my dilemmas. I need an upgrade for my tri bike, which I suppose I could sell because I would like a road bike to train on. It'd be nice to ride road. I think it'd be a lot more enjoyable. But anyway, so he tuned me up today. It wasn't even a tune up. He just checked it. I was going to have him like clean everything off, but I decided I'll just do that. Shouldn't be that big a deal. Check something. And yeah, I mean, the bike's the bike, I have been riding with a disc wheel for the last 2 weeks or so. I'm borrowing Coach Robbie's bike or disc wheel. So I have been riding with it. I've rode out of Natchez Trace with it. I've ridden at the airport out here where it's super windy. If it gets like super windy like it is out there, that it's kind of a problem. But I don't anticipate it getting that bad at Wisconsin. I mean, it gets to be like grass blowing sideways kind of stuff. So should be good. Should be good to roll. I guess the emotions are the part you need to deal with right now. I did take a little bit of a nap today. I don't even know if it was necessary, but it felt pretty good. And we talk about getting your sleep during this time, because your body's going to be, doing a lot of work to fix itself and recover and everything. So it's probably good to make sure you get enough sleep and enough water. And that's where I just keep harping. I think that's like the most underrated part of everything we do. We always talk about nutrition and everything like that, but we're drinking all these things that are kind of manufactured or whatever, but like good, clean, pure water is like about as good as it gets. We're probably all chronically hydrated. Anyway, I don't know. I don't have a lot today. I should have. I went to the coffee shop and I had a medium coffee. I had some more coffee this morning, so I've had a lot of coffee today, which is not probably the good. I'm trying to wean off it a little bit here, but I went up for a refill, and the guy said it's $1, and these guys are so distracted and so like, freaking out behind the thing, and I said, hey, shoot, do you have change? You guys don't have change for a 5, do you? He's like, I think we should. We probably should have 5. I think we do. Yeah. I was like, dude, no. Acting, like you would say it was 100 or something. But nobody's getting jokes anymore. Everybody's just so fast paced, running through the world. And, we got an Ironman coming up. A lot of us do. A lot of us are, a lot of you watching are probably doing Ironman Wisconsin. And, the best thing to do is just be calm and have a good time out there. I know it's always so counterintuitive to say have fun, but it can be. It's definitely hard. I think that's one of the things I always try to impress on people is that if you've never done one, you get off that bike and you're just like, wow. Most people are just like, wow. You gotta really kind of. That's why it's so important to kind of compose yourself, check your systems and everything like that, and not come out hard running because it can just implode. It's a long way to run after riding those hills. So just hang in there. Just hang in there. It's 7:08 and I just mowed the lawn. Oh, we thought of a good bet for the race. We're going to see who can do the slowest first split, and then I think it's like a mile or something like that, and then who has the fastest split at like 21.4, the 21.4 split. So that'll be fun. Is Wisconsin a good race for a person's first Ironman? Well, it was my first Ironman. It depends. It's a pretty hilly ride, of course. But other than that, and the swim is what I would call a legitimate swim because it's in a lake and it can be a little choppy. It is wetsuit, so if that makes you comfortable, that's a good thing. And but there's no real current that kind of helps you push down. So it'll be a legit lake swim. The lake can be a little rough, but sometimes I don't know, it's not that bad. I mean, I think the first time I did it, it was pretty rough, I think. And it usually gets pretty wavy, but not until, in late morning or afternoon, because I've been around that lake a lot. And I think it was last year, I was videotaping a bunch of stuff up there. And right as like kind of the end of the swim, man, I walked down to the other end of the, I guess the Helix, the Frank Lloyd Wright, Monona Terrace. And I was looking out at the water and it was absolutely wicked. But the swim was already over. So other than that, if you feel comfortable riding hills, I think it's a great one. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of people out there supporting it. and the city embraces it, and it's right downtown Madison, and there's a lot of good stuff to say about that race. So Adam, I don't know if riding a tough bike course is your jam, but the run isn't bad at all. It's got a lot of spectator support, and somebody posted a picture tonight in I guess it was the Wisconsin Facebook group of the old mass start, and I got to tell you, man, I'm so glad I got to do it, for one. I mean, both times I did it, we had a mass start, and I think I did the last year they had the mass start, and I personally think that's why it's not selling out. It's like a perfect race. I mean, like if it was the mass start and it was the only one, I think it would sell out every year. Maybe it's sold out this year, but it hasn't. It used to sell out. Of course, a lot of them did sell out really quick before, but Wisconsin was a 2 or 3 day sellout. The weather's really good usually, and it's beautiful up there in September. So, but that mass start, it was just such a cool experience. Both times I did it, and I wasn't even what I would consider a super strong swimmer. I started right in the front of that line. It's about 100 yards wide or something like that. Maybe not quite that far, but and then it's like 50 yards deep, and it's just a big blob of people, and they shoot the cannon and everybody goes, and there was like 2,500 plus just going at the same time. And man, it was a little bit of a melee, but man, it just was such an accomplishment to me. And I think that's the thing that gets lost sometimes in these races is how can we make them easier? How can we make them easier? But like, I really feel good about doing the mass start, and I still love the race, and I don't think it's like easy now that they don't do it, but it was just another element that I miss, Such a cool spectacle. I mean, for the people too. And that was, I guess in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, there used to be so many. They used to have like, they would say, I think almost like 10,000 people would watch the beginning of that race, and which is crazy for a bunch of amateurs just kind of swimming. But it looks so cool when you're up there watching it. Look it up. Ironman Wisconsin mass start. And so what makes me nervous, not nervous, but like I wonder if how many people just aren't as interested anymore, because that was a pretty interesting visual for sure. And it lasted, it was like when everybody started, it looked like a big school of piranhas taking off, and then you could watch it like for 10, 15 minutes, and it really was interesting. And it was just cool being in the middle of it, even though it was like wicked sometimes. There would be definitely some contact, but I think it was, it's not really any different because it's your 10-foot square box, I mean, that can happen in a wave start as well. And I'm sure it can happen in the way they start it now. There's going to be some contact because a lot of people are going to be trying to swim to the same place. But anyway, go for it, man. I say you do Wisconsin, Adam. And come on up. I don't know where you live, but you should come up and watch it this year. We're going to have a lot of fun. And we're going to have some T-shirts up there and what have you. It's Tuesday night in Nashville, and I am from Sioux Falls. Drive over, man. Sioux Falls. It's probably a little bit of a haul, but it's actually fun to watch. That's how I got into Ironman. I went up and watched Ironman Louisville for the first time, and I was like, okay, I got to do this. My buddy was doing it, and went up there, me and another friend, and we got up at like 5:30 and went over and watched the whole swim, and we watched until the end. And my buddy got done at like 11:35 at night. So it was a long day, but it was, I don't know, there's something about it that just got into my system. And I think I signed up for Ironman Wisconsin about 2 weeks later. So I think watching one is really definitely some good bait if you want to push yourself over the edge. All right, well, that's about that. And 12 days out, it really starting to kind of feel like, it's real. And I'm having a lot of, I think, almost subconscious emotions. I'm not really as worried about the race now as I am about like a lot of logistics and the travel and dogs and you okay, buddy? And going home and hanging out with the family, all this stuff, And but once we get into Madison and settled in, Mike wants to know my thoughts on downstream swims and Ironman. Yeah, I'm good with it, man. I like this is the funny part. Like I did Chattanooga, which is a straight downstream swim, and I went down and watched the first one ever. And they had for whatever reason, the however they control the dam. I felt like the current was super strong because there was a lot of people I knew who weren't even that good of swimmers getting out of the water in under an hour. And I was like, well, that's kind of weak, because I think my first one in Wisconsin took me an hour and 23 minutes. And then a guy that, like I'm faster than, a lot faster than, is getting out of the water in 58 minutes at Chattanooga, and it was, no, I guess it was the next year. But anyway, so I did Chattanooga the following year, and I was like, well, you don't even need to train for this swim. And I didn't very much. And about 500 yards out, I almost like lost it, man. I was struggling big time because the current wasn't as strong evidently that year because they had shut the dam or something, but it was definitely did not feel like I had a big current, and I was not prepared for that swim. So, it's 2.4 miles. So current or not, like Louisville has a little bit of upstream to it. I'm fine with it as long as they have the whole thing. That's my big issue. Usually is that they're always trying to shorten it, and I know there's like reasons. I get it, but I don't know. So I don't have a problem with it downstream, just whatever it is. I mean, it's all different courses. They got to do what they got to do. So I think it's fine. I mean, like Chattanooga 70.3, I wish they would just figure out a place where they could have that so you could swim the whole distance and make it all downstream rather than keep cutting out the 200 to 300 yard upstream every year and taking away the, kind of the authenticity of the distance just because they're, afraid that some people might not make it up to the corner. Either that or just like send off, like if you don't want to go upstream, it's sort of like that optional wetsuit optional thing I was thinking, if you don't want to do the full course, hey, we'll let you jump in and swim straight down. You cut off about 400 yards or something like that. But you're not eligible for prizes. It's sort of like how they do that with the wetsuit. You can wear it, but you're not eligible to win on the podium. And you start at the back. So let everybody kind of go off and get around and get out of the thing, and then if people just want to go straight down, that's fine. But that's kind of what the argument we've been making on the podcast for a while is sort of like create a competitive wave where people can you can create a little bit of an easier swim or safer swim or whatever you want to call it, and then let people who want to do the thing, like last year at Louisville. I don't know, maybe it wasn't Shradden's first. Maybe it wasn't passable or possible to get up that water. I don't know. It was pretty rough, I have to admit, but just let people who want to compete maybe just go out first, and then the second wave kind of let them do their thing. That's the way I look at that stuff. Like Wisconsin, let's have a competitive wave. Maybe there'd be like 500 people out there that want to just go after it, and they start in the water together at 7:00 like the old mass start, and then everyone else kind of does the single flow seed rolling start, whatever they want to do. But anyway, that's just me. So there's legal and all kinds of reasons. But anyway, so that's almost 20 minutes. I appreciate you guys coming by, and I'm a little bit, I don't know, I feel pretty good, but I can tell I'm a little bit low energy. Hopefully I get it back by the podcast Thursday. Again, Crushing Our Podcast. Coach Robbie joins me every Monday and Thursday. Check out crushingiron.com. We've got our next year camps up for registration right now, and they will sell out probably soon. So they come down to Nashville. It's a great 4-day weekend, and everybody, most everybody, every year leaves with a lot more confidence and a lot more of triathlon ability. And we've seen it. We had a girl come in our last camp, and 2 weeks later, she just went up to Maine and hit the podium. So it was pretty impressive. We will catch you later. Thanks for joining us. And I'll be back tomorrow because I'm tapering. I don't have a lot going on. See you.